Case number 15053, 65 Cleverly Court LLC, Michael Green for a manager for a special permit floodplain variance finding, construct a new 8-unit, 3-story residential building at 65 Cleverly Court and 57 Rare Cleverly Court. The applicant and representative here.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chairman, members, thank you. For the record, my name is Christopher Harrington. My law office is at 21 McGrath Highway in Quincy, and I represent Michael GREHAN, who is the owner and developer of this proposal. Mr. GREHAN purchased the property. It's located right here at 65 Cleverly Court. He also has an agreement with the owner of the property next door at 57 Cleverly Court to purchase land in the rear of her property. She's here with us this evening as well. His proposal is to build an 8-unit residential townhouse. These townhouses are very similar to most of the townhouses that you see built in Quincy today. You have 3 stories, two-car garage on the first floor, living space on the second and third floor. This application is for a floodplain special permit. I just wanted to pass out one item to you. This property is impacted by the changing flood maps for the city of Quincy. Today, a portion of the site is in the flood zone. If the city adopts the revised flood map, if the city adopts the revised flood map, which we expect that they will, the property is not in the flood zone at all. However, today it is, and so we requested a floodplain special permit. All of the living space is above flood elevation anyway, so that's not a factor. This flood zone is a coastal flood zone. It's tidally influenced from the Fore River. When the tide is high in the Fore River, this area can back up and flood. And so in a coastal flood zone that's tidally influenced, there's no compensatory flood storage required. So even though this portion of the site here is currently in a flood zone, all the living...
Council, we can't see that, really.
All of the section of the property that's in the flood zone is this area right here. Even though this is flood zone, there's no need for compensatory flood storage because it's a coastal flood zone, and the site's going to be filled with a retaining wall here. So all of the living space is going to be well above flood elevation when the project's finished. This project is, this application is a special permit floodplain, a finding, and dimensional variances. The property is zone Business B. Business B projects have to comply with residency requirements. We have over 16,000 square feet of land, 16,779. The property is big enough to have 8 units. There's no variance required for the number of units. We have a 0.7 FAR, which is less than what's allowed for Residence C. There's no variance for that. Residence C allows 6-story buildings. We have a 3-story building.
What are you doing here, Council?
Well, the property has 66 feet of frontage.
I know exactly.
So we need a finding because the property has 66 feet of frontage, not 100. So it's a finding to alter a non-conforming property. Plus, we're adding the section next door onto this property, so that's another alteration of the non-conforming property. We're here seeking variances for the setbacks of the buildings. You notice on the site plan, the existing building right now on the front is about 7 feet off the street, and the new building is 10 feet off the street. On the side of the building here, the existing building is 12 feet off the sideline, and we're proposing to have it at about 12. So the front and side of the building is roughly in the same location as the house that's there right now that's coming down. So we have a 10-foot setback that runs along this whole side of the property. This parcel here is the end of the Pizza Hut parking lot. So the property that's here is a rental, an investment property, rental units here, and this whole line here, this is the very end of the Pizza Hut parking lot from Washington Street. It runs all the way down behind these houses on Cleveland Court. So where we have the 10-foot setback here, for most of it, it's not an abutter that would be affected by having a 10-foot setback. On the corners here, we have 18.5 feet setback from this corner to the lot line, and 24.2 feet from this corner to the lot line, and as you know, 25 feet is required. So the amount of dimensional relief on these two corners is relatively minimal. The front yard setback and the side yard setback are pre-existing non-conforming for the structure that's there right now. This project was submitted to the planning board for site plan review. It was approved last month, and the planning board, when it reviewed this project, sent it out for peer review with the planning board's peer review engineer. They approved the site layout, the parking, the traffic, the utilities, the architectural on the buildings, as well as the new landscaping. So it went through full peer review with the planning board and was approved. In terms of a special permit for this project, this property is going to provide new valuable housing for the city of Quincy, which the city always needs. Affordable homes for first-time home buyers as well as empty nesters. We expect it to be very good for property values for the other rental properties that are in this area. If another person wants to convert their property into a condominium, I think these units will probably sell for about $390,000, which would mean about $45,000 of new tax revenue for the city of Quincy. The traffic, pedestrian flow, and safety was all fully reviewed by the peer review engineer and approved in site plan review. All of the utilities are completely designed, including stormwater management. And we think that this will not have a significant impact on the natural environment. This project has 672 square feet of green space per unit. 400 square feet is what's required. So it's more than 50% over the minimum amount of green space that's required. And again, we think this will have a positive fiscal impact on the city of Quincy. With respect to the finding, we're asking for a finding that it's not substantially more detrimental to put 8 units on this property. We think that given the fact that the property is being expanded with the addition of the land next door, to have 8 units on 16,000 square feet is not detrimental. The 66 feet of frontage is a pre-existing condition that we can't change with the amount of frontage it's on in Cleverly Court. As far as the variances for the setback, the front yard and side yard non-conformances are already existing. We're tearing the house down, so our grandfathering for those non-conformances goes away, so we need a variance to have the 10-foot setback along the side. We think the topography of the site, it changes from 29 feet elevation to 20 feet in the rear, so we have a significant change in topography. We have to build significant retaining walls and site work, as well as the stormwater management to make this project work, which gives us is a financial hardship for this project, which necessitates 8 units. Also, the existing structure is in very poor condition, and it was a blight on the neighborhood. There was a lot of illegal activity going on in the house, and my client's intention is to tear it down and clean it up. The stormwater management system was completely designed by our professional civil engineer, who couldn't be here this evening. He had a conflict. But the stormwater management system was reviewed by the peer review engineer, and this stormwater system was signed off by the planning board that every storm event, the 2-year, the 5-year, the 10-year, and the 100-year, that the new system has less runoff, and then the stormwater system can handle
The 100-year that happens every week.
Correct. So you'll be happy to know that this system can handle it every week.
There you go, Council.
That's our presentation. If you have any questions.
No, I appreciate that, Council. Here's my first question.
Yeah.
Why didn't you buy the house next door? You bought it backyard, why don't you buy the whole house and do it right?
Well, we could, the house next door wasn't for sale.
Oh, it is for sale. They sell the back of the yard. I think the house was sale. And I think someone's holding out for some more money. That's my personal opinion. I've been in this business too long to say it's not for sale, why would she sell you a whole backyard and not the house? There's a reason there. I don't know what it is, but really, that house should be ripped down, 57 should be gone, 57, 59, and 65, and put a nice complex in there. Why is you gonna build around a house like that? It's
Well,
beyond me, really.
that is a possibility, but if we took down both houses,
Mhm.
we would wind up having 10 units. We'd have 5 and 5.
Beautiful, nice project.
That's what we have now. We have 8 and 2, it's 10 units. It's the same number of
No,
units
it's
in
not,
the
it's
neighborhood.
not. It's around and it looks ugly. It's around a single-family home and it looks ugly. It really is. I think it's not, I think it's detrimental to the city, the way that looks. And to come in here, I think you would have bought that property, you come in with 10 units and build a nice property. Personally, I think it's well oversized. I think to buy someone's backyard, to put 3 more units in the back, and to come here and ask, is wrong. Personally, I just can't. I can't fathom what you're trying to build there. For a single family or two-family home beside it, with these 35-foot structure all around, with a ball field down the street, it looks ugly. It looks ugly. I think you could have done better. I think you could have come back with a better project for the city of Quincy. My opinion, I'm 1 out of 5. So, that's my question. You say it's not for sale? That's fine. Answer.
We took care on the landscaping plan to plant a row of high trees all
Council,
the
I
way
know what
along
you
here.
did. I just think to go around a two-family house like that in the city of Quincy, and that's what's happened in this city. These projects being placed where they shouldn't be. And whatever it is, that, to me, I think it's absurd, really is. Come in with that, with a park next door, and put a single or a duplex beside it. Just like, come in with a nice project. You come in with nice projects. Council Harrington, you come in with nice projects. That there is ugly. That's coming in, you're cutting out a whole corner, or you're taking someone's backyard to put 3 more units. You wanna put 5 units in there? Put 5 units in there. I could agree with that, and that house eventually would be gone. There'll be another 5 units there. And eventually, down the road, that whole commercial area will be brought up. But to me, I just, really, when I went down there and watched that, I looked at it, I'm still trying to figure out, so you're taking the backyard, you're buying someone's backyard to stick 3 more units. Sorry, I don't agree. Any other questions, Council? I don't have.
Well, I don't have a question. I have to just say this, is that I don't like it either. And, you know, as I was approaching the property, I'm thinking, this is the neighborhood I first moved here to in 1982. And I said, all these little miniature houses, and then we're gonna have this right here. And if it wasn't, I do think that if you got rid of the house here, it's still another single-family house on the other side.
Well, it's a two-family.
A two-family.
Right, that's fine.
And then what do you have after that?
That's growing up at the
That's-
commercial property.
Now we're into the commercial
Mhm.
beyond, I'm just,
Which direction?
I'm not,
Towards Washington.
No, he's right.
Yeah, those are all multi-families
Yeah.
on that side, all the way
Multi-families.
to Washington.
street.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I have almost the same question that the chair has, which is, why is that house still there? I understand your answer.
The owner of that property was willing to sell the land and back, or was not willing to sell the house at this time.
I can't counsel. You built the most beautiful projects in the city. And you cut, well, no, he has, he's done some nice projects, really, I think he has. He's had some tough ones, and, but he's worked hard. To come up with that, I think you could come in here, somehow, your client could have bought that project and come in with 10 units, pay for that house, and make a nice project for the city. Really, it's just, it don't belong here. The way it is, I can't vote for that. I just can't. I just couldn't be in favor of something, it just looks weird. Driving down Clubberley Court, it would look weird to see a two-family house and this 35, 36-foot building behind it with a big L shape, and then you're going into little residential. It's just, never mind, I'm done.
I
Any,
just have a question, comment, question. you did mention that it's gonna be like all the other buildings being built here, and that kind of disturbs me. And I know when I look at projects that are coming forward, they do all kind of look alike, and I'm wondering 20 years from now, everyone's gonna say, what the heck were they thinking? These places are all ugly. Kind of what the red brick garden apartment places of the 60s look like now. And, you know, they're plopped into these residential neighborhoods, kind of, you know, and I'm afraid we're going the same road, that's all.
Mr. Cabeas, you're perfectly right. Also, that building should come back with hardy planks, some nice stuff, and make a nice pot. So when you're driving up Cleverly Court, you'll have a nice building. Exactly right. So, Carl?
I kind of agree. From the overhang, it's only 6 feet away from the landscape planting.
Exactly.
It reminds me of the house in Atlantic City that they wouldn't sell, and they built it around it.
But she will sell it. She's gonna sell it back, she'll sell it front. It doesn't matter what the money is.
Yeah, I would have a hard time proving it also.
So, Brian?
No comments at this time.
Mr. McGrath?
I'll be honest with you, I went to this area twice, because I couldn't grasp it and understand that L shape. I thought, when I was looking at it.
Well, it says 59. You don't
Yeah.
see 57 till you see the
Yeah,
other side of it.
Yeah, I looked around and it aesthetically just, I can't picture it being done like that. I'd rather see it as a full unit, and to me, and then just one other thing, just getting back to proposals and how it's gonna be proposed, build would be finished with traditional style materials that are complementary to the surrounding area. What would be the finish here? What are we
Vinyl,
talking?
like
Yeah,
yours.
what is it?
Vinyl.
A vinyl finish look?
Well, yeah, it would either be like a vinyl clapboard style, the types of materials you'd find on a single-family home or a two-family home.
I truly am not in favor with this layout as is.
Thank you. Want me to go the rest of the hearing, or do you want to,
I'd like to ask you to continue the case so I can meet with my client and the lady who owns the house next door
sounds great.
and see if we can report something back to you at your next meeting.
I appreciate that, Councilman. I know it ain't you, and I know how it works, and I know what she's holding out for or whatever, and that's, God bless her, but she might end up with nothing if she's holding out. Is there anyone here to speak on tonight's case, right here? No, I just want to know, you're part of this. You own that house, correct? All right, so you're part of this. Is there anyone here that's a resident that wants to speak in this case?
We live on 6th Ave, and Mike bought the house across the street from us that was a dump and
All right,
fixed it
why don't you
up.
come on up and speak your name. Here's what I'm trying to say. We're gonna continue this, and I just wanna know if there's anyone in this room, we're gonna continue this hearing. But I'd rather hear from you right now. Go ahead.
Well, I think he does great work,
He
and
does.
I think it would add to it, because I've seen the house that he's taking down, and, you know, I just.
And where do you live?
On 6th Ave.
How far away from that is that?
It's, Clovelly Court is here, 6th
Yeah.
Ave is here, so we're, yeah.
And you can honestly say, a big L shape right there with a two-family in the middle would look nice?
Yes,
Really?
I personally think it would,
Thank
yes,
you.
it's,
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for tonight's meeting? Just so you know, we're gonna continue this case. I'll let you know the date in a minute. November 10th. I have a motion to move this to November 10th, since,
Mr. Chairman, matter number 15-053, 65 Cleveland Court, LLC, Michael GREHAN, manager, for a special permit floodplain variance finding to construct a new 8-unit, 3-story residential building on premise number 65 Cleveland Court, at 1507 Rear Creek, Quincy. Take a motion to continue the hearing until November 10th.
that's seconded.
thank you.
On the motion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Council.